Tyron Woodley and Dana White have obviously been bumping heads for a little while now. And the most recent one is Tyron Woodley was upset that Dana White went public by saying, oh, he thinks that Stephen Thompson won that fight. And the reason he's upset is because he says that Dana White told him in the very first fight they were in that Dana White kind of said, yeah, I think you won that fight, but he wasn't public about it. And then lastly on this, Dana White responded, and then he goes, there's one guy around here who calls the shots. As soon as you learn that, the better off you'll be. That was his message to Tyron.
No, he did it. Where does that say that?
The bottom.
Is that a quote?
Right here. He says this whole thing like, dude, you said you were going to go out and knock him out or do something impressive, but you didn't do that. And then the very end of this paragraph, he says, like something super hardcore.
There's one guy around here who calls the shots, and as soon as you learn that, the better off. Oh, God, I hate that. Because I was a little bit on Dana White's side where, like, love or hate Dana, you always kind of know where you stand with him, for better or worse. And so at least Woodley knows where he stands with him. But I don't mind, it's actually good media. It's good notoriety for Woodley to be associated with him kind of going against the grain, right? Like in the WWE, same thing. You got a heel, anti-man. Like we can jump on board with that until Dana's ego comes into play and goes, there's one guy around here who calls the shots, and as soon as you learn that, the better off you'll be. Now, do you mean Ari Emanuel, or I'm sorry, who's the one guy? The guy who owns the UFC? Should we? Because he would be the guy who calls the shots. Don't get it twisted. If he tells Dana jump, Dana's gonna be like, how high, sir?" So, I don't like that. That's that mob mentality. There's one guy around here who calls the shots, and as soon as you learn that, the better off you be. Okay, so should I call Conor McGregor? How's this gonna work? Because he'd be the one who calls the shots. He's the one who's telling you, I'm going to fight Floyd Mayweather. You're not going to do shit about it. He's the one who goes, I'm going to fight at 55, vacate 45, and you do it for interim belt. And, oh, yeah, I'm going to fight Eddie Alvarez. And then I'm going to take some time off, might fight Floyd. We'll see. Oh, and then there's the Ali Act. I'm going to go for my license in Nevada and California. So I'm sorry. When you say there's one guy around who calls the shots, as soon as you learn that, better if you be, this isn't Shawshank. You're not the warden. And I was on Dana White's side when it comes to this confrontation between the two until you pull that card.
Yeah. It's a bully card.
It's a bully card, and I get that bullying got you guys to a certain point, but now with social media, it's out, and you're not fully owner of the UFC, and you've sold. That doesn't fly anymore. You're not gonna Russian mafia me into a corner and bow down. Like that's not the way it works. And you're not calling the shots because there's been shit fights made. There's been shit cards. You're not calling the shots anymore. So and again, it's an ego thing here, So, God, that I hate when that happens because imagine if Roger Goodell said that to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I know Deflategate, but you're gonna learn there's one guy around who calls the shots. Soon as you learn that, the better off you be. Now you're talking to one of the baddest men on the planet. You're talking to Tyron Woodley, the welterweight champion of the world. Granted, it wasn't a great fight. He's still two-time welterweight champion of the world. As soon as you learn that, the better off they will be. As soon as you learn that you are not a star. Dana White sells 0 fucking tickets for the UFC. No one, the UFC would not skip a beat if he just took a back seat and was behind the scenes. No one would give a fuck. You sell 0 tickets. You're a promoter. You promote the talent. You are not a talent. You are not a celebrity. We do not want to watch your YouTube show. We do not want to see you on First Take. We do not want to see you on Fox Sports. I want to see the fucking talent, sir. The soon as you learn that, the better off you will be. Beat it, nerd. And I was actually on his side. I have no ill will towards Dana. I think he's done a great job. But when you bully these guys, because you know he can't do anything about it, is when I get upset. Because now Woodley's a guy who, a lot of people are upset with his fight. Dude, you're diminishing your own product. When you say Tyron Woodley came out and said he was going to destroy Thompson. Yeah, that's what you tell all of us to say. That's how we're supposed to sell fucking fights. And when you get booed for 5 rounds, you try fighting fucking Wonder Boy for 5 rounds. And that comes out in a different stance you weren't expecting. That's fighting you how you didn't expect.
That is a weird thing too when you look at that. If this was an island and they're the only 2 people left on Earth and they had to fight for whatever, chances are.
If there's an island and if we're on Catalina Island, the Catalina fucking
Catalina
wine mixer, and everyone's dead from a zombie apocalypse, and Dana White and Woodley are on the island, Dana White would be sucking Woodley's dick and getting his coconuts every day. As soon as you learn that, the better off you will be. As soon as you learn that this is not the 1970s, you cannot corner guys and bully them, especially the baddest guys on the planet, the better off you will be. As soon as you realize that your ego is killing the sport, the better off we will all be, including you. You got to get rid of the ego, man. You have how much money in the bank? Just get over it, man. Guarantee. Tell Conor that. How's it go? You're taking advantage of Woodley because he doesn't have, even though he's the welterweight champion of the world, he doesn't have the power to negotiate like Conor. Let me know. Tell Brock Lesnar that. Let me know how it goes. Tell Conor McGregor that. Let me know how it goes. Tell Ronda Rousey, not now, but at the time, how it goes. You're taking advantage of these guys, man. This is why a lot of guys hate you. Why not be cool, man? Why not say, God, you know what? That fight wasn't great. It sucked, man. You know what? We're just going to move on. Woodley's still a champ, hell of an athlete. Moving on. Now, behind closed doors, if you want to say, Woodley, listen, man, that fight sucked. I get it. Stylistically, shit happens. Let's bring it the next one. I'm cool with that. That's fine. You're a promoter. But when you say there's one guy around here who calls the shots, I hope they're not misquoting him. When there's one guy around who calls the shots, as soon as you learn that, the better off you'll be. God damn it. Yeah, imagine if your boss told you that.
Dude, that would suck.
And you were carrying...
that would really suck.
Yeah. You don't want to work for them. No. You want to create an environment where people want to work for you. No one wants to work for Dana.
Dude, there's no way anyone with any self-respect would work for someone that's like an actual bully. Here, this is a little weird one. I have no idea. You've worked with Dana before. You have that inside experience. You know if he really, truly means it. I have no idea.
Look at me, Chin.
But it's messed up to say that.
He 100% means it. And that's the issue. That's where, at the time, I had to fucking take my lumps and move and deal with it because I had no power. I'm not a superstar. You know what I'm saying? I don't fight for you anymore. I don't shine your shoes anymore, sir. I have other people shine my shoes now. I would never treat anyone like that. Are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable that mentality's still going around.
I completely
And if
agree.
I'm Woodley, I take that and I run with it.
So don't, obviously not quit, but run with it in a way like keep poking at the bear. How would you do it?
I would take that and put in quotes, but there's one guy around who calls shots, and as soon as you learn that, the better off you be. Then I'll show examples of Conor. I would blast so much stuff out. Like, this is really who we want to work for? Because he's the champ. You're not going to take the belt from Woodley. The public would, you can't do that. You'd be so fucked. And that fuels the fire for the associations more and the unions more. So if I'm Woodley, I'm taking that and I'm fucking running with it. And again, it's ego. That's just an ego thing.
Yeah, entirely.
In the entire UFC, on that list of wrestlers, you are not a tough guy. People get it twisted. You are not just because you have power over the most talented men on the planet when it comes to fighting, because you decide who is the matchups. Because you had two rich high school friends who invested in this business, not pioneer. If I had two rich friends, I could have fucking done this. If you had two rich billionaire friends, you could have fucking made this happen. Don't get it twisted. You're not a savant of promoting fights. Don't ever forget when you can step out and look at things. I'm a guy. I got lucky. I took every opportunity and I ran with it, and I was backed by billionaires. If you guys are listening to this, whether you agree with me or not, look up Woodley's story. Look up Woodley's past. Do me a favor. Look up the struggles he came from. Look up when he's fighting to pay the bills, and him and his wife don't know what they're going to do because they have 3 or 4 children. And now imagine your boss coming up to you and goes, hey, buddy, there's one guy around who calls the shots. As soon as you learn that, the better off you'll be. The nerve at this day and age. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. That upsets me.
I can tell.
That really upsets me.